Okay, so this is my new series. Let's talk about ketosis, shall we? Okay, so remember yesterday when I said that my doctor actually recommended a certain way for me to eat, and he actually supports this. I'm not a doctor. I am not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm trying to tell you where I'm coming from with this. So what is ketosis? It is a natural metabolic state that your body uses ketones as energy. It's how your body burns fat. So what does that mean? Normally, your body uses its glucose, which is sugar, storage as energy. In this case, it's using fat, your body fat, and fat from the food you eat to burn as energy, as an energy source. So, how did I find out about this, and what did I do when I first found out about it? I looked it up on the internet, because we all do that, right? And, I saw pros and cons about it, and pros and cons, and I was like, I did Atkins diet a few years back, and now, let me tell you, don't get confused with the two. They're similar, but they're not the same, okay? And don't get ketosis crossed with ketoacidosis, which is a dangerous thing for diabetic people, okay? This is not dangerous. This is a natural metabolic state, okay? Remember, I was talking about hormones with my thyroid, so this helps. Say what? Oh my gosh, no way. So here's how I found this doctor that I'm like, dude, you're my new BFF. So 3 years ago, I had a client, and she said to me, I went to my doctor the other day, and he told me that carbs can cause inflammation. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, and it can contribute to Alzheimer's. I'm like, yeah. And he told me to eat butter. And I said, yeah. And bacon and eggs. And I said, who is this guy? Dr. James Carlson. I will attach a video where he completely talks about this and all these things that we've been taught to practice all these years. So now, here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to think outside the box. I am a personal trainer, but I will not become a certified nutritionist because of this. If you took the food pyramid and turned it upside down, that's how we should be eating, okay? Now, like I said, talking about this, I haven't talked about it much because it's kind of like talking about politics, because there's always someone who has a different way, or something else works for someone, and that's fine. I'm not trying to tell you that this is the be all end all and everybody should eat this way. What I am telling you is it worked for me. And there are a lot of freaking health benefits that go with it, but I'm not going to get into that today. What I'm going to get into is how this kind of works and how it has benefited me and a couple people that I know, and then health benefits will come out tomorrow. So this is going by what I've completely experienced and witnessed. So I go to see this doctor and I'm like, hey, dude, where have you been all my life? Because you need to be talking to more people. And he's trying to, but you know what? This goes against everything we've been taught all this time. I actually see someone on here who was also recommended to do a low carb diet, who was borderline diabetic, and it worked for them, okay? Can we reverse diabetes? I'll get to that in a minute. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. What I'm telling you is your heart and your brain prefers ketones. It prefers that you use fat as fuel versus sugars, okay? Now, remember yesterday I said sugar is sugar is sugar. And you'll see the video when I post it in my blog where he says your body doesn't go, hey, this is sugar from a Snickers, we better digest it differently. And hey, this is sugar from a banana, and we're going to digest it this way. It's the same thing. It's the same molecular whatever, okay? So this improves your overall health and I don't want to say reverse, it can help with ill effects of many medical ailments and chronic illnesses. Do you know that it first started being used in the 1920s for pediatric epilepsy? What? Do you know I have a cousin that has seizures and was told you should eat ketogenically because this will help you stop having seizures? And when she asked me about it, I said, did the doctor recommend it to you, or have you been told or have you decided this on your own? She says, my doctor recommended it to me. And I say, I love him. So what does it mean? How do you burn sugar or burn fat as fuel? Minimum carbs. I'm talking like 5 to 10% carbs, okay? 70 to 80% fat, and then you throw some protein in there. You go over on the protein and your little chemical reaction of how your food digests changes. I'll go over that in another episode. I have done quite a bit of research on this, okay? Now, you may think I'm nuts, and that's fine, okay? But here's what I'm going to tell you. It reduces inflammation. It reduces the risk of disease. My biggest fear is I have heart disease in my family. My father had a heart attack at 41. I'm 42. My cholesterol is lower now than it was in my 20s, okay? My triglycerides are under 100. My HDL, which is your good cholesterol, is up there. It's supposed to be high. So my levels are good. But they're also finding, don't think I'm a doctor on this one, they're also finding that cholesterol levels are not really the cause of heart attacks. It's your clogged arteries and the plaque and inflammation that's in there, which kind of maybe comes from the food we eat. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm just going by what I know, what I've seen, what I've experienced. So like I said, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not a doctor, okay? But it's recommended by the doctor I go to. I watched him treat a family member. And I don't want to call anybody out, but I watched him treat a diabetic family member, severely diabetic. This family member ate exactly the way he told her to eat. And he only had her stay under 100 carbs a day. And she lost weight. He took her off almost all of her diabetic medication. And she felt good. She looked better. Her skin looked better. Your skin looks better. It reverses, I don't want to say it reverses the aging process, but there's so many benefits that I don't want to get crazy, but we will talk about those. I watched that happen. And then I watched it reverse because we stopped eating the way the doctor had recommended, because we crave carbs. Why do we crave them? We'll get to that in another episode. I know I'm not giving you guys all the information that you want like right now. Your body can naturally go into a state of ketosis by what you eat. You don't need anything to help you into it. You just need to eat a certain way. Some people are more insulin sensitive than others, so they may have to adjust how they're eating it. How many of this, that, or the other. My doctor says we've been so worried about counting calories that we aren't counting carbs. He says count carbs, not calories. Now, I'm going to end with this one because I'm going to read this from this book I've got, which is a quote from a doctor. People are like, wait, well, we need carbs to survive. Your body can produce them on their own. Okay. I read about it the other day and I was like, okay, so this kind of confuses me a little bit because I don't understand all the breakdown of what happens, but I will go over it, not today. I will go over it another day and read exactly what comes from the book. But I just want to read this part here about, doesn't your body need carbs for essential nutrition? This is from Dr. Eric Westman. Okay, so there's a lot of doctors that have helped contribute to this book. And it says, in nutrition, the term essential nutrient means a nutrient that cannot be made by the body and therefore must be consumed for the body to function properly. Essential nutrients for humans include water, vitamins, minerals, protein, and fat. Carbohydrate is not an essential nutrient. Because when your body goes through this certain, I've always told everybody, like I read this book a long time ago called It Starts With Food. And it does. Your body goes through like this whole chemical science experiment or whatever every time you put food in your mouth and how it breaks it down and all this other stuff. So my biggest thing was, okay, does this help with my thyroid? I don't know. Does it? So now I'm reading up on more that yes, it could help regulate your hormones and your thyroid levels. Have I come off of medication? No, I've never gone into it that far because I just figured that the Synthroid that I was on for my thyroid was a natural hormone that my thyroid was supposed to be emitting, and it wasn't, so I took the medication. This is something that I would be very interested in trying to see if it would actually work. But when your body burns your fat as fuel, you will notice you have more energy. Mentally, you feel less brain fog, which is a sign and symptom of thyroid hypothyroidism. You will sleep better. I notice I don't feel as bloated. So all those itises, which means inflammation, we'll discuss that later. What cutting out carbs can do, because all I'm asking you is to, hey, look, listen to this, see what happened. Okay, wait, I forgot this one. My neighbor lost 100 pounds eating this way 2-3 years ago. So remember I said I was kind of doing this when it wasn't cool? That's when I was doing it. And I haven't really brought it up because, like I said, it's like talking about politics and you know, everybody's got their... So I'm not telling you to go eat this way. If what you're doing is working for you, that's cool. But my thing is like, hey, you know what? If you suffer from joint pain or inflammation or you leaky gut, like I talked about yesterday, when the funk you're eating just releases into your bloodstream, try changing it for a few days and see what happens. I know someone who's been on it for 2 weeks and has lost almost 20 pounds. That's a lot. Yes, that's a lot. Remember, depends on where you're at with things, how big you are. Someone like me is not going to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. I don't really even have 20 pounds of body fat to lose, or I am at a dangerous point. So I'm not saying like, hey, go keto and you'll weigh 98 pounds because everybody wants to weigh that much. What I'm saying is this is an optimal state of metabolism that your body feeds off of, and it has benefited so many people that I know, so many different illnesses, which tomorrow I'm going to talk about what the effects it has on certain illnesses. But like I said, if you've got something that ends in itis, this is something that you definitely want to look into. Do your homework. That's what I did. I did my homework. And I'm going to tell you what, guess who doesn't approve of it? Think outside the box, guys. The government is telling you, you should eat this way, like this little food pyramid says. Now, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but what would happen if you guys all came off your medications? What would happen to your doctors? They wouldn't be making money, okay? So I'm not saying that your doctors are scammers, but some of them don't understand this and they don't know it and they don't practice it. Nutritionists don't. So I urge you, once I post this blog, to watch the video that my doctor talks about it. There's one little thing that I don't care for that he talks about, and he knows it. Like he gives, is it 4 or 5 things that myths that we've all been told. And one of them was you need to exercise to lose weight. And that's a myth. I agree with it being a myth because I always say it's like 80-90% diet. And I know I've gone like a million minutes over on time, so I'm going to cut this off after I say this. But, you know, and he's not saying like don't exercise because it's good for your health, but it's not, you don't need to over-exercise. Exercising is good for you. And he's like, I know you don't like reading that on the whiteboard. I'm like, no, I don't, but I understand where you're coming from. Because you can't out-exercise a bad diet. So, seriously, you guys, look into it. And you're going to find like the ADA and a lot of these government, they don't agree with it because they're going to say, oh, it's not good for thyroid issues because people who were on it have thyroid issues. Did they develop them from eating that way? No, they didn't. They've had them prior to that. Did it get worse? Maybe because they thought that they didn't need their medication. They don't back it up. And once you watch this video, you're going to realize that some of the research isn't even there to show that what we've been taught to believe for how many years, that there's scientific evidence to that. I don't really need scientific evidence. My blood work shows me my scientific evidence. That's all I need proof of that. So I just kind of want to educate you guys on that. Like I said, it's a natural state that your body can be put in by how you are eating. So seriously, once the blog gets posted, watch what my doctor says on his video, and then go look at his stuff. He's written books. He's amazing. And he said, I have the power to write you, a prescription, and I'll do it because maybe you're not going to believe what I'm telling you. He has not written me a prescription for anything, and he's like, let's go. I'm going to stop right there talking about the blood tests. No, I'm going to let it go. Don't fast for your lipid panel next time you have it done. Just tell him you fasted. Okay? Because that's cheating. It's not showing them how your body breaks stuff down. That's exactly what he told me. Go in there and tell them you fasted. Don't worry about it. Everything came back great. Same thing as if I would have fasted. The only thing that didn't come back was the fact that I have high bilirubin, which is Gilbert's syndrome or Jabot's syndrome, which shows up when I fast, not when I don't fast. So all I've got for you today. So tomorrow I'm actually going to talk about the benefits of eating this way, and you're going to be amazed. You are going to be absolutely amazed at things that can actually go away eating this way. All right. So you guys have a great day. I want to thank you for getting on. If anybody's eating this way or has actually had a doctor tell them to eat this way, I want to know, because those are the doctors that I'm like, you know what, you guys need a hats off, because like I've said before, if I find a doctor that is actually that I believe in and that isn't BSing me, I'm spreading that stuff like peanut butter. I'm going to let you know about that doctor like crazy, and I'll do it. So I've sent quite a few people in my family to him, and some of them have listened and seen great health benefits, and then they've gone back to eating the way they were before, and everything reverses, and they're a shit show now. You know, and I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying, like, I've watched it reverse, and then they decide, well, I don't want to eat this way anymore because I like donuts. And I'm not saying I don't eat donuts, because I do. You know, there's like an 80-20 thing you got to do here. So that's all I've got for today. I think I went for about 45 minutes, and I actually have something in the oven that's probably burning. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.